So if you're scared of planes, log trucks, roller coasters, NASCARs, bridges, sunbeds, barbed wires, barbecues, cooking in your own apartment, hanging your clothes out to dry, nail guns, buses, dentists, acupuncture, well, you probably liked the Final Destination movies like me. I just figured with a new one on the horizon, what better time than now to rank the Final Destination movies. So let's do it. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Dave Musson. Normally I talk to you about Stephen King here, but this is Silver Scream, my new feature where I'm talking about horror movies. And in this video, I did my top 10 horror movies last time, but this time this is my first franchise ranking, and this is going to be the ultimate Final Destination ranking. So Final Destination Bloodlines is imminent in cinemas as I sit and record this. So it felt like a great time to talk about the rest of the franchise and do a ranking. But I'm not just going to rank the 5 movies and just tell you which one's my favorite and least favorite and then be done. That would be a very short video. No, we're doing an ultimate ranking here. So there's lots of rankings within this video. I'm going to be counting down my ranking of the opening credits, of the premonitions that we get in these movies. I'm going to rank the gang of survivors that we hang out with. I'm going to rank the kills and the deaths. I'm going to rank the Tony Todd cameos. I'm going to rank the stinger at the end of the movies. And then I will give you my overall ranking. Now, my overall ranking of the movies will be spoiler-free. The other sections will contain stuff that would likely ruin a first-time watch for you. So just be careful which bits you watch if you haven't watched all of these movies. Use the descriptions in the timestamp to navigate your way through and dodge the bits you need to dodge. Or if you're just here for the whole ride, watch the whole thing. That would be super smashing and fantastic. And of course, let me know your thoughts on the Final Destination franchise in the comments. It's absolutely one of my favorite horror franchises. I think it's kind of underrated and underappreciated because it is inherently silly, but it's also brilliant and has been a massive influence on my writing, actually, which I've come to realize in the last few months. And hey, while I mention my writing, let's take a quick moment for me to get my plugs out the way. You can skip these if you want, but if you're willing to give me a few seconds of your time, I'd very much appreciate it. So I write horror fiction. I have a collection of short stories that won some awards in 2024 called Once More Around the Sun. Link is down below. You can also find a link to my Stephen King themed collection of band shirts that I designed and my Stephen King trivia book. And you can become a member of this channel. You can become a constant viewer, get extra content, early access to regular content, emojis, all of that kind of stuff. That's all there in the description. But if nothing else, just click subscribe and keep coming back and watching these videos. And, well, I'll really appreciate you forever. Okay? Okay, let's do this then. Jumping into my ultimate ranking of the Final Destination franchise. I'm excited. No premonitions needed. We're just going for it. Okay, let's warm up with a ranking of the opening credits. Now, it might seem like a bit of a strange thing to rank, but particularly in franchises, I feel like opening credits help set the tone of a movie and are an immediate hook for you to come back into that world. So I thought I'd rank them. So with that in mind, my least favorite set of opening credits is Final Destination 2. They're fine, but they're also kind of meh. At 4, I'm going for Final Destination 5. I mean, whoever had the idea to make the Final Destination credits look like James Bond credits, I don't really know what you were smoking that day, but sure, I'm here for it. The only reason it's not higher, actually, is just it goes on for too long. Like 4 minutes, I don't need that. At 3 is the credits from The Final Destination, which from this point onwards, I'm going to call Final Destination 4. So, on paper, the idea of the opening credits reminding you of iconic deaths from the previous movies, good idea. But then when you see how Final Destination 4 pans out, bad idea. Don't remind people of stuff that's happened before that is better than what you're bringing to the table. My second favourite credits are the originals, Final Destination 1. They're slow, they're creepy, they're cheesily atmospheric, but I really like them. And of course, that means that my favorite credits are Final Destination 3. It's the fairground aesthetic. Super unnerving. I'm totally here for it. And actually quite calm considering where the rest of the movie goes. But they're just the best ones for me. Those merry-go-round horses, they'll always get me. Okay, next up, I'm going to rank the premonitions. Obviously, the premonitions are a huge part of the Final Destination franchise. That's the entire hook of the movie. Person, main character, has premonition, sees lots of gruesome death, manages to dodge that situation, and then death starts to follow up and try and sort of put the natural order back in place. So these are the moments of the movie that really draw you in and that people remember. So let's rank these ones, shall we? My least favorite premonition is the Final Destination 4, the NASCAR stuff. The reason I don't like it is because it just has no patience at all. Patience and detail and setting things up so it can all fall apart. That's the key part of the Final Destination movies. And this one just spunks its load within the first 8 minutes. And yeah, it just doesn't do that work to build the tension. It just forecasts everything really obviously and just like bam, 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 all done. Yeah, just take your time, guys. In fourth place, I've got Final Destination 5, which feels kind of harsh putting it this low down because the bridge collapse is incredible. Like, super terrifying. Some great deaths within that sequence. And just a wholly effective and chilling opener. The reason it's this far down is because the CGI is horrible. And it just brings it down, which is a shame because the creativity they showed in the writing and the choreography is hugely admirable. And it is totally iconic. So at 3, I'm going for the original, Final Destination 1, the aeroplane exploding. I mean, granted, this is the one that sets the benchmark and sets up the entire structure for this franchise. And it is a wonderful, wonderful moment. But the other two are just better. And in rewatching this franchise for this video, I was struck at actually how almost low-key and small and tight this opening is. But that claustrophobicness of it suits the aeroplane setting, definitely. And it is chilling and terrifying. And particularly when you're watching this movie for the first time, and perhaps if you don't know what the premise is, you see them get off the plane, and then they're arguing in the airport afterwards, and the plane's taking off. And I think because you've seen it in so much detail, you see it like the death coming towards the main character. But then when you see the plane just take off and boom, it just blows up. Oh, so good. Such an effective way of just rounding off that opening part of the movie. So at 2, I'm going for Final Destination 3, the roller coaster that goes wrong. I mean, this roller coaster sequence is utterly breathless and terrifying. It just eats up every single detail and it revels in showing you every single person getting wiped out. And the fact that it ends with the roller coaster like stuck upside down with our final 2 survivors clinging on for dear life, and then they push themselves back out, one of them falls, and then the roller coaster like comes off and our final person is gone. It's just so good. And that element of being trapped, because like the first one has a plane but they get off the plane, like it almost feels like they're more trapped on the roller coaster because there's a huge queue of people behind them. The people working on the roller coaster are just like fed up of all of these teenagers and their shit. They just want them to get on and do their ride and then go away. Like it feels really difficult to escape from this situation. And it's just so good. Like roller coasters are kind of scary anyway, even if you enjoy them. But this is kind of enough to put you off going to theme parks for life. But at number 1, of course, is Final Destination 2. This is like the all-timer of opening sequences for a Final Destination movie and for pretty much any horror movie. This is this premonition sequence that has traumatized a generation. You won't find anyone my age who will be any anything close to comfortable being anywhere near a truck with logs on if they've seen this movie. And obviously the logs set it all off, but then the domino effect that follows from that is just fantastic. Like, you watch this and just think about the choreography of this scene and the wittiness of the writing of it. It's just so fantastic. And you get the little stinger built into this one where you assume that our main character and her friends in the car are going to be the gang of survivors. But no, our main character gets dragged out of the way at the last minute and her friends still get wiped out. That was just like, what? What? We're putting her in with strangers now? Totally wasn't expecting that. And yeah, just an all-timer of an opening sequence. And amazing. Okay then, let's rank the gang of survivors. These are the people that we spend our time in these movies with. And my least favourite by a distance is Final Destination 4, The Final Destination. A complete shrug of a cast of characters. They're all horrible characters played by actors putting in horrible performances. And I just wanted them all to die. And, you know, if you're watching this movie, you want at least one of them to make it, right? So at 4, I'm going for Final Destination 5. Just a really bland, anonymous cast of characters played by, again, just completely meh actors, including Tom Cruise, if you'd ordered him from Wish.com. Just no chemistry. And yeah, totally bland, which is odd because, well, when we get to the next section of my rankings, like, this movie is not bland, but the people acting in it really are. So at 3, I'm going for Final Destination 2. I really struggled to connect with this cast of characters. They just seemed too disparate for me. I think the stakes are higher in these movies when the characters do actually know each other. I like the idea of us throwing a bunch of strangers together, but ultimately they took a swing and it missed. It didn't really work. I didn't like them bringing Clear Rivers back. That added nothing to me. But I will give it 2 bonus points in that the teenage boy in here is reading Bag of Bones by Stephen King. So not only reading Stephen King, but reading like an underrated Stephen King book. You can check out my 19 Reasons to Read that one, actually. But yeah, good for him for reading Bag of Bones. And then there's also the side character kid in the Limp Bizkit t-shirt over the long sleeve shirt. Like, what could be more 2000? Person who is willing to admit in public that they love Limp Bizkit and wearing a t-shirt over a long sleeve shirt to emphasize the fact that they like music. Peak 2000 fashion, 15-year-old me high-fived that guy through the screen. In second place, I've got the original cast, Final Destination 1. I really like this gang of characters. I think Devon Sawa is just fantastic in the lead. And I love seeing Sean William Scott playing this little dweeb. I'm so used to him playing Stifler, this cocky, arrogant jock. But to see him playing this complete dweeb, just hilarious. And I really like the teacher in this, how she plays it, how she is just utterly freaked the hell out by Alex, our main character, as you would be. But yeah, a great cast. Like, for them to kick off this franchise, they needed a strong cast and a good selection of characters, and they absolutely got it. But of course, at number 1, that means it's Final Destination 3. I think this is the most interesting cast that we get. I think there's a really good range of tropes and cliches and all of those kind of things. But the way they are brought together, I think, works. You know, they're not necessarily all friends, but they're all bound by the trauma of losing friends from their high school class in the opening sequence. So they know each other and they're forced together to become closer than they might otherwise have been. And I just think the diversity we get in this range of characters, like all the different, as I said, all the different tropes, all the different checkboxes are ticked off. It's just a perfect selection box of folk to be chased down by death. Okay then, time to rank the deaths and the kills in the Final Destination franchises. And if you are looking to dodge spoilers, this is definitely the section to dodge because these deaths are best experienced without knowing what's going to happen. So, my least favourite collection of deaths come in Final Destination 4, The Final Destination. Just like the opening sequence, they have no patience, they don't take the time to build the details, and they just feel like tribute band versions of Final Destination deaths. And there's basically none in here that are particularly memorable, apart from a couple. So seeing a racist literally get dragged down the street while on fire, that was kind of fun. And I will give them the swimming pool death. That one, fantastic. And a very obvious nod to a Chuck Palahniuk short story, which is gross and horrible. And yeah, kind of the only moment in this entire movie that is actually worth remembering, to be honest. So 4, I'm going for Final Destination 1. Some great deaths here. Like, there's nothing wrong with the kills here at all. But you can also feel this movie realizing that there's a franchise opportunity here, and it's almost working out as we go along what the rules and the style and the playbook of this franchise is going to be. So it hasn't quite worked out exactly how it wants to do them, but it really gives them a good go. And like the teacher death in particular, that is where they've gone, no, that's our blueprint for future deaths. And it is so good. So in third place, I've got Final Destination 5. Now, until I rewatched this, I didn't think the deaths here would be anywhere near this high up the list, but they're all so good. They're all so just toe curling and wince inducing that, like, they just make me cringe. Like the acupuncture and the gymnastics deaths are just woof. But my favorite is the laser eye surgery stuff, because I cannot deal with stuff going near my eyes. I cannot deal with eye horror. I'm just happy wearing glasses, actually, thank you. So in second place, I'm going for Final Destination 2. Now, they could have very easily rested on the laurels of that worldy of an opener and given a sort of 6, 7 out of 10 selection of death for the rest of the movie. But they don't. They give us some truly iconic ones. The guy getting sliced into different pieces by the barbed wire fencing, the mum getting her head stuck in the elevator, the guy who you think is going to get caught in his apartment fire when he sets it on fire cooking, but he escapes only to slip over on those noodles and then for the ladder to like pause there above his face, and again you think he's free, and then bang, straight into his eye and gone. But my favorite is the dentist scene. Like, such good tension building and some fake outs, and he gets out, and then the glass drops on him. Boom. Yes, thank you, please. But for me, my favorite selection of deaths, it's Final Destination 3. The kills here are so nasty, but the tone of them is so in keeping with the movie and perfect for this franchise. And they all deliver on giving us details, carefully showing us all the chess pieces being put into place, and then letting us watch as it all falls apart. And I mean, you could list all the deaths in this movie alone and it would cover pretty much most of the iconic ones from this franchise. The nail gun, so good. The gym sequence with the head PE needle drop, amazing. The engine thrusting itself out of the truck and into the back of that guy's head, unbelievable. But my favorite, of course, it's the sunbeds, because it is thoroughly terrifying. They're completely helpless. And then you get the most perfect scene transition in the history of cinema. Okay, next up, we're ranking the Tony Todd cameos in these movies. So Tony Todd, who you may know from Candyman, of course, a horror icon. And he's a part of this franchise. And he's a creepy part of this franchise. So let's rank his appearances, shall we? In fifth place, Final Destination 4, The Final Destination. They don't even use him. You guys can get in the bin. That cements yourself as a not serious part of this franchise. Go away. In fourth place is Final Destination 3. They only use him, they only use his voice as the voice of the roller coaster, the devil in the roller coaster. And frankly, that's a shame. That is this movie's only blot in its copybook for me. In third place, Final Destination 2. For me, he's more fun than creepy in this movie, which is why he's only in the middle. But I still love seeing him turn up. In second place, Final Destination 5. We see him a lot in this movie, almost to the point where it feels like they're making up for the fact that he was only in with his voice in Final Destination 3 and he wasn't in at all in the fourth one. And I am all here for it. He is just a creepy presence throughout, and it feels like he almost feels like the villain. It feels like he is toying with our gang. And particularly when you've got a gang of such bland, boring people and characters and actors. Like, he just elevates it by multitudes every time he's on screen. But my favorite is the first one, Final Destination 1. It's a pretty fleeting appearance, but my God, he is creepy and unsettling as anything here. And you just watch it and think, what brilliant casting, what brilliant writing, or what a brilliant performance as well. Like, that's what you want. A new horror franchise that has an icon of other horror IP making a 5-minute appearance. You just need him to come in and just completely smash it. And that scene is a joy.
I'll see you soon.
Okay, next up, we are ranking the stingers at the end of the movies. Now, again, if you've not watched these movies, this is a section to dodge, so use the timestamp in the description because, yes, spoilers here, because I'm talking about the literal end of the movie. So, let's get into it. My least favourite, of course, is Final Destination 4 because it's just such a shoulder shrug. And by this point, you want everyone to die. So actually, you watch it when that truck crashes into the coffee shop, you're just like, at last. Finally, they're gone. I can stop watching this terrible movie. But in fourth place is Final Destination 2. Now, I love this as a stinger. It's the barbecue where the Limp Bizkit kid gets blown up and his arm lands on the table in front of everyone. I do love it, but you kind of feel like the franchise was a bit of a crossroads at this point because it's like, okay, we know we're going to end on a stinger, but do we end on something scary or do we end on something silly and sort of black comedy like they've gone for here? The comedy didn't really work for me. Much as I like it, it's not in keeping with how these stories pan out. Okay, in third place, the first one, Final Destination 1, we see our survivors finally get to Paris. And you're never fully sure that everything is okay. You get a sense of something building. But it's just so satisfying to just see death just get one more of them. Doesn't wipe them all out, but it just leaves you finishing that film by thinking, well, Claire and Alex, they're still on the run. They're still trying to hide from death. But death has not finished with them yet. Like, that just really works for me. It's a really effective stinger, but also like, yeah, just let your imagination go as to what's going to happen to those two once the credits are done. Okay, in second place, Final Destination 3, the subway crash at the end. Now, I mean, I love this movie, and for it to have the guts to then give us a second full premonition sequence at the end, to then zoom out and be like, no, that was a premonition, but for then to our kids to not be able to get off the train and for it to just go off into the subway and you know what's going to happen. So good. But number one, Final Destination 5. Yeah. When you see our survivors and you realize they are on Flight 180, the plane from the original film, and this entire movie was actually set before the first one, what an incredible rug pull. The first time you watch that movie, if you don't know that's what's going to happen, it is just mind-blowing. And again, just what a swing for them to go for on that movie. Because it feels like for me, Final Destination 5, you don't get a sense that it is set in the year 2000. It doesn't feel like that. It's only when you rewatch it that you think, oh no, actually, yeah, there's nothing in there to make it feel 2011 or whenever it came out. But just so cleverly done, so brilliantly tying everything together. And I just think it's incredible. Like, absolutely brilliantly played. And of course, they've been sowing the seeds of it the whole time with our character talking about going to Paris. And you just think, because in that movie, there's so many visual references to the other movies. There's a toy plane, a toy NASCAR thing. You know, there's a log truck goes past at one point. There's all these other things. You just think that's another reference to stuff that's happened before. But for it to be on that same plane that blows up, so good. Okay then, the big one, ranking the movies overall, completely spoiler free here. This is my countdown of the 5 movies we've had so far. So, in 5th place, my least favourite Final Destination movie by a country mile is the Final Destination 4. Basically, it's utter dog shit and it's a disgrace to this brilliant franchise. In fourth place, Final Destination 5. And this again feels incredibly harsh putting it this far down the list, because the deaths are great, the premonition is excellent, and the ending is just world class. But it's the characters and the actors that let this one down. I just don't like them. In third place, Final Destination 1. This is a rare franchise where the first one is not the best one, and yet the first movie is still an incredibly effective and brilliant horror movie. It's just there are two more in this franchise that are better than it. In second place, Final Destination 2. An absolute world-class opening, a checklist of fantastic deaths. The final act lets this one down, but ultimately it's still a wild ride and just a hell of a lot of fun. So my favourite, Final Destination 3. For me, it's basically a perfect Final Destination movie. It gives me everything I want from this franchise. A great premonition, some exquisite deaths, a diverse cast of characters that you love seeing get killed off, frankly. A flipping great ending. I don't know why I was holding the F for there. Just a great ending. Perfect tone, great needle drops, great visuals. I really struggle to find fault with it. It's my favourite Final Destination movie by a mile. And there we go, it's top of my list. But what's your favourite Final Destination movie? Let me know in the comments. Okay, there we go. That's Final Destination ranked so far. Hey, Final Destination Bloodlines is coming out. I think I'm going to have to weave in these categories when I come and review it back here on my channel for you. I'm excited for the new one, but let me know your favourite things from Final Destination, but do be aware of spoilers in the comments. If you're talking about endings and kills and stuff, maybe just let me know which movies you like. Don't go into details because I don't want people to have potential first-time viewings ruined if they're reading the comments. So just be mindful of others. But definitely let me know which are your favourites. I'd love to hear from you. And let me know if you're excited for Final Destination Bloodlines. I definitely am. And I'll be back here very soon to review that very movie for you. And don't forget, if you've got ideas for future videos for this Silver Scream section, let me know. Let's start building up a great selection of videos about horror movies. And, well, take care, stay safe, see you soon.